Even if you can cook, you can't mess this up because I just be playing in that kitchen. Let me show you how to make this chicken Alfredo real quick. Ooh, she's making chicken Alfredo. Yes, I am. And I'm going to be using a pound of this fettuccine pasta that I got from Aldi's. All of my ingredients are from Aldi's. I do break my pasta because the kids are eating it and they don't want those big noodles. But you don't have to do that. I start by prepping all of my ingredients while my pasta is boiling. I let the pasta boil between 7 to 10 minutes. It just depends how cooked I want it. I also use this mozzarella cheese from Aldi's because I like the consistency of it when I make my Alfredo with this mozzarella cheese. You don't have to add it. Like I said in my other cooking videos, you don't have to do everything like I do it in this video. This is just the way I do it. Also, nobody showed me how to cook. I just be playing in the kitchen and eating the cheese that I'm supposed to be cooking with. Go ahead and cut the mozzarella cheese into cubes. This is going to help when you're making your sauce. That way it melts a little bit better. You do not want big chunks of mozzarella cheese in your pasta. I usually don't buy any shredded cheese, but they didn't have any blocks of Parmesan cheese, so I tend to go for this already shredded Parmesan cheese from Aldi's. And I also buy the regular like shredded ones that you can just put on top. It's in the green bottle. I use 2 cloves of garlic, mash them up just so it could be easier for me to cut them into smaller pieces. We're adding this to Alfredo. I also like to prep my butter. That way I know how much butter I'm using, because if you haven't watched my soup recipe, we like to wash our fingers at my house. I'm also doing chicken and shrimp for this Alfredo recipe, but I started with my chicken, just cleaning it up, removing all that fat. One thing you didn't see me do in the video is washing my chicken. Make sure you wash your chicken with vinegar or lime juice or lemon juice, please. Then I went ahead and started seasoning my chicken with my preferred seasonings. I don't like to do too much when I'm doing my Alfredo. I just like the Alfredo taste. So I add a little bit of Lori seasoning salt, a little bit of onion powder. And if you don't want to use these seasonings, you don't have to. Just letting you know, though, your Alfredo might taste a little bit different or whatever. Then I went ahead and added a little bit of garlic powder. I also added a little bit of black pepper. And I forgot to buy fresh parsley, so I went in with the dry one. But trust me, if you use the dry parsley, the fresh parsley, it tastes a million times better. But I forgot because I was with the kids at the store, so I apologized. I also use half of a Maggi seasoning cube because I like the flavor that it gives the food. And I use this marinade. I used it for my turkey. If you go watch me cooking all my Thanksgiving food, I just like how it makes the food taste as well. Went ahead and moved this a little bit. One thing you didn't see me add was the paprika. I did add a little bit of paprika to it just because I like the flavor, but I did use smoked paprika. For the shrimps, I went ahead and used all the same seasonings. And make sure you wash and clean your shrimps. They do not do a good job when they're packaging our food. So make sure you do that, okay? And make sure you wash your hands after you prep your chicken, because you do not want to cross-contaminate none of your food. And make sure you wash it after you season your shrimps. I use the same seasonings that I use for my chicken. The only thing I didn't use was the Maggi seasoning cube or the marinade that I use on the chicken. Basically just the same thing. You can add as much as you want to. You know what you and your family likes, so go ahead and add as much as you want. Make sure you mix it up real good. Get all the seasoning and all the little cuts in the shrimps. This is how all of my ingredients look. This is what I like to do. Prepping everything like this saves me so much time, y'all. Like, when I say so much time, I don't have to be over here looking around. Where is this? And where is that? And oh my God, I forgot the garlic. It just helps so much. I started cooking the chicken first. I add a little bit of oil. I don't add butter for my chicken because I don't really like how it be tasting. But I started with my chicken and I let it cook for 10 minutes on each side. I did not overcook my chicken though. I just like it to be a little bit more browner than other people. So I just let it cook a little bit longer. You can cook it however much you want, however long you want. I only had this at a, I would say medium heat for about 20 minutes. I know that sounds like a long time, but that's how I wanted my chicken. As long as my chicken is not pink in the middle, baby, burn my chicken. But as you can see, the chicken was still juicy. Y'all can see that. Don't lie. My chicken was done at this time, and I went ahead and removed it from there. I was going to use the same pan to cook the Alfredo, but the kids probably would not like it because they requested shrimp, so it might have tasted a little bit weird, but usually I do cook it in the same pan. Then I went ahead and added a tablespoon of butter and a little bit of oil to cook my shrimps. Do not overcook your shrimps. Please do not be here cooking your shrimps for more than like 7 minutes, and that can be a long time. Just please don't overcook it. You don't want chewy shrimps. I just went ahead and put it all in there and cover it up for about 6-7 minutes, and they were ready. This is how they look. As soon as they start turning orange, they're about cooked. But I cooked it just a little tad bit longer because the kids were eating it, and I wanted to make sure that nothing happened to the babies. Then I added the rest of the butter in a new pan. And I added a little bit of oil, but don't add too much because all that cheese, a lot of oil is going to come from it. I dropped in the garlic and let it cook for about a minute. And then I went in with my smoked paprika. I prefer smoked paprika when I'm cooking than regular paprika. I went in with a little bit of black pepper as well. I basically seasoned the garlic, butter, and oil, but I do not over season this because the cheese has a lot of salt and your Alfredo can be salty, but I just like to season it just a little bit, you know, before I make the sauce. I wish that I had my fresh parsley, but I didn't, so I just had to go ahead and add a lot of dry parsley. It doesn't give it the same flavor, but we had to do what we had to do, y'all. Like I said, add as much seasoning as you want, but do not over season it. I went ahead and started stirring all of that before I added my heavy whipping cream into here. Do not let it burn like I almost did. Just let the seasonings kind of like infuse a little bit with the butter and the oil, but do not let it burn, y'all, because it's going to make the Alfredo taste a little bit weird or whatever. So I started adding my heavy whipping cream a little bit slow, you know. Didn't want to add too much because I didn't know how like cheesy and moist the kids wanted the Alfredo, but they said that they want a lot of cheese in it, or just like, you know, for it to be a little juicy or whatever. So then I went ahead and just kept moving it around and measuring. I only had 1 pound of pasta, so I didn't want to have it like a soup. You do not want to make an Alfredo soup. I kept moving the mixture around until all of the seasonings were infused. And then I went ahead and added a little bit more of heavy whipping cream. I did not add the whole box, but I did add a decent amount. Once this is warm up a little bit, I go ahead and add my mozzarella cheese. I add all of it. The mozzarella cheese has been sitting out for a little bit, so it's not as cold. And one thing that you didn't know about cooking, it's all about temperature. So it reminds me of like chemistry a little bit, because you have to make sure all the temperatures and stuff are good. Once the mozzarella started melting, I started adding my Parmesan cheese. I want all of this cheese to infuse together and melt. I do not want it to turn into a clump. So just make, I don't know what y'all be doing sometimes, that'll be turning on like a clump, but we're not doing that over here. As you can see, the cheeses are starting to melt. And this is time. Just give it time. Do not go ahead and put the heat super, super high and let the cheese melt at the bottom, because your Alfredo will taste nasty and burnt. At this point, you're going to go ahead and taste your Alfredo. And if you need to add anything else, go ahead and add it. Obviously, I can tell I'm adding some smoked paprika, a little bit of that black pepper, and I did add more of the other seasonings that you saw me using earlier. I prefer to like fully season my Alfredo towards the end. That way I know it's not too salty, because the cheese, all the salt from the cheese comes out. And as you can see, my Alfredo started to boil here because I was doing 20 million things at the same time, and I literally lower the heat. One thing you don't see me, because I cut the video, is remove it from the stove and let it cool down a little bit, because I did not want to burn it. I added a little bit more cheese because I'm like, a little bit more cheese is not gonna hurt nobody, except my stomach though, because I was paying for it the following day. At this point, all of my cheese is melted, and I start adding my pasta. Baby, my pasta was getting cold. So I went ahead and put it in here, and I had to move it a little bit more because it was getting like clumpy and stuff. I was getting upset, but the food still came out good. My mood did not change how good my food tastes. This is how it looks, just like the kids wanted it. And this is usually how I like my Alfredo. It's moist, but it's not a soup. Do not make no damn Alfredo soup, y'all. But it was done and it was time to plate it. Here's me trying to show like I'm a chef or whatever, trying to plate this all cute and nice. You see that little twist? I know you see that. But I went ahead and plated the food for everybody. This I'm only showing you guys with the chicken. But if you go watch my VLOGMAS video, I did plate the shrimp ones for the kids. And then on top, I added me a little bit of cheese and a little bit of that dry parsley, even though I prefer to use the fresh one. But like I said at the beginning, I forgot. But if you guys want to see my original recipe, I will be making a video with that. But so go ahead and like, comment, share, and subscribe so I can show you guys the next recipe.